Hi, welcome to Burntwood Workshop. And today we're going to cover LED lighting your projects. And what I've got here is, these are EL wires, and I bought a pack of 5 of these, and each one comes with its own little battery operated controller, and these are basically run by 2 AA batteries. And this is the first one. And as you can see, lights up in pink, and it has 2 features, a flash and 1 solid. Then we did this one. This is an outline, basically done as a nice perimeter highlight, and then it does the same thing, the fast flash, slow flash. And these are battery operated. And like I said, these are EL wires. They come in a whole bunch of different colors, and each one came with its own controller. Okay, so they come in green. They aren't super bright, but for a lighting at night, they work pretty cool. We've got green, we've got this one here is white. All right, and then this is the blue. And they're not super bright, but they really add a nice touch to your stuff. Another option is to go with LED modules. LED modules look like this. They come on a string. You cut them and wire them up yourself. And they come in different colors. This is what it looks like lighting up something. And then this is removable. And that's them all wired up. And then they're controlled by switch, and power runs in through a regular wall plug like this. These are 12 volt modules, but I'm running out of a 9 volt supply, and they work fantastic. I've never had any issues with running them for years. These are all done the same way. You can run them off of a 12 volt, or you can run them off of the 9 volt. They work fine. And these are wired up with, I get these switches from Amazon. They just come with a pigtail on them. And then the switch goes through. This is the power input. And that comes with a little nut you put on it. And that puts it into whatever you're putting into, like this. So this is what you end up with. Power plugs in, then your switch. If you were going with a larger quantity, if you're lighting up a much bigger item, you might want a larger supply. This is a commercial supply. It runs LED lights like these or these. It'll run any of them basically, but it runs a larger quantity of them. Both of these lights are run with those modules and a regular wall plug. This one here is fully battery operated, and that's just got 2 of these modules, 1 on each side, lighting it up. And then if you wanted to light up, say we make these windows, we were going to try and light that up with one of these. These don't work very well. So I made a fancy mount and everything for it. It was a fail. So we tried this, and this lights it up really nice. These pop right off. But it's a regular bulb, and I think it would get too hot with the wood, so we've got LED ones coming. I'll show that in a later video. So this is our Gothic window night light with that LED night light that I got from Amazon, which came really fast. It came in like 3 days. And that's what it looks like on the Gothic window, and I'll show you what the light looks like on its own. The LED light is the one on the right, obviously, and the one on the left is the regular bulb. And it actually lights up really nice. It's a little short, so it puts the light a little lower in the window, but I think it looks fine. So there's an option for that. What we'll do is we'll show how we wired this up, how we basically laid it out and what we did. And this is what the back looks like. We just basically stitched it up like you're sewing. And I'll go over that. And we'll go over some other items like these. All right, so with our experiments with EL wire, this one is the first one we did, and that's happy hour. And one of the things I did on this one was I didn't run the 2 holes through here to run this across. I bent the wire through and then painted this black. And that's something you can do so that you can't see that. Well, throw that down there and shut it off. So I painted that black so it looks more like an H than a K on both of these. You can paint them black, but what I would recommend is like we did on Subscribe here, and I would run it in separately. So I would have run this H here and here, like we did our little I. That worked out a lot better, and I think it looks a lot nicer. So the Subscribe one came out really nice. And then this, what we want is, because we have the box behind it, we made a box for that to sit in. And basically I just made a cutout where this is, so you can push the button and control it from there. And then when it's freestanding, it looks like that. So that's some things you could do with EL wire. We're going to keep practicing and trying different things, but that's what we've come up with so far on that.
Okay, so this is a sign that we previously made. This is our happy hour sign. What we're going to do is we're going to make one right on here to show how we did it. So we're going to do one. Okay, so there's our text. We're going to change the font to something that would look good. And what we want for a font is something that doesn't have, like that one right there would probably work out really well. We don't want one with little ears on everything, because then you have to try and bring your LEDs into those ears, because everything we do is going to have to be lit. And what we're going to do is from here, we're going to steal this, because I don't remember what the size was, and we're going to copy, we're going to bring it back to here, and we're going to paste it. So this is our hole size for the EL wire, and it is 0.094 is the size we used. So when you make your sign here, you just want to keep in mind that that is the size of the wire coming through it. So that's going to be the width of the wire as it goes through your sign. This sign looks pretty decent for that size, but we're going to go a little bigger. We're going to go 10 inches. And then, in order to do this, you have to take one of these and copy it and paste it. I'm going to paste a few of them around just to make life easier. And then each letter is going to need one of these at the top and at the bottom. So we're going to, there's our S. Okay. And then we're going to paste a few more. And then our U. Move these over towards the B. Scroll out. Right. Move it over a little more. Now on the B, there's a couple of things you can do. You could put it at the top and the bottom, and then have another set coming in for here. Or you could run your wire in like this and out. But I think it looks better if you have them set up separately. So rather than having one wire do it all, these will be able to be brought a little closer to that wire, something like that, and you'll end up with a better definition. I tried to do an H and pull it across on that happy hour sign. I didn't like how the H came out, so we decided we're going to do this way instead. And when we're done, we'll find out how much better it looks. On the R, You could go down and bring the wire back up, but I find that it's easier to just stitch it in the way you want it. Stitch it in so that it's individual wires. And we'll show after we cut this out what that looks like. And the other thing is, by leaving this red and blue, we're going to have to make a duplicate of the whole thing for the top piece. And yes, I'm talking slow because I'm focusing on this. And on the eye, I don't know what, I've never done an eye. So this is going to be a, I guess we'll just put 2 in there and try to maybe run the wire around like that. And if you come up with a better way of doing it, put it in the comments. I'd love to know how you do it. We're almost done. And then we'll go over the last bit of this. Now this one here, we'll put 1 right here. And the last one is going to go right there. And there's our subscribe. So this is the cutout pattern for the holes. This part doesn't get cut out. Then we're going to take that blue and we're going to go copy, paste, and that's going to be a part that's cut out for your words. And that'll overlay that so that you can pull your string through it. And then we just need a border. And do we see anything we like in here? Could probably go with something like that right there. And unlock it. And drag it to the size that makes us happy. And then copy that and paste it again. And then we want to make sure these 2 line up. So we're going to take this one, whoops, undo. We're going to take this one and we're going to make it purple. And we're going to pick this part and we're going to make sure it's centered up in here. And then we're going to group that one. And we're going to put it over the top of this one and see that they don't line up. So we know that we got to work on it. So we're going to take the purple one back off. You're going to click on just this. I'm going to make that black because we can't move the other part or we'll mess it up. So now we've got that set. We can pick the black one and slide that over until it's right lined up with that. Now they're both lined up perfect. Now we can pick the purple, pull it out, and group that. Now we have our 2 pieces. We can cut those out and make our sign. Okay, on the subscribe, we also want to take, I grouped this, we want to ungroup this, and we want to take the actual subscribe word and we want to move that to green, because when we do this, we want it to be score, or we want it to be score, basically. We want this to be score because you don't want to cut this out where all these are. That's got to stay in there, and then this will just sit over the top of it like that. And you'll know where everything goes. Okay, so now we've got this all set up. What we want to do is we want to take the purple, and we can get rid of that screen. The purple is going to be cut. And we're using 1/8" plywood. So I'm going to set that for 110. And that's going to be our top piece. The black is going to be a cut. That's going to be the same as the other. And then all of the red ones are going to be cut. And then the green, it could be 30, 150. Because that's just going to be a behind the piece. And then we are ready to run it in the laser. All right, now we've got purple and red are cut, green is score. Okay, so we have these two parts. Now we need one more piece for this whole thing. And what we want is we want a ring for the back for the wires to sit in. And I'll show that in a second here. But where the wires stick out the back, they stick out a little ways. So we want just a trim ring. So we're going to do a internal offset. And we're going to go a little bit bigger than that. Something like that looks good. Confirm. And this will be our trim ring that'll go on the back of this and make sure it doesn't come into contact with anything, which it does not. So we're going to turn that to blue. And we'll cut that out because I already cut the other ones out. Here's the machine cutting the holes out. And I'm just going to say, I don't think you could drill the holes out as fast as this machine cuts them out. And it zips them right out pretty fast. And then we'll show the finished product. So these are our pieces after we cut them out of the laser. And what we've got is I scored this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's scored with the subscribe on there. And then this will be our top piece like that. So this is what we're going to end up with. And then we'll fill the letters in a second here. But we're going to glue that together. And then this piece is going to go on the back like that as a standoff for these wires that stick out the back. So that's where we're at. We're going to glue her up. We're going to take this and we're going to line it up. Make sure she's all lined up nice. Stick it down. Of course I got a tiny bit in the letter area. And we didn't stick, so we're going to hold that there. We're going to just get that little dab that's in the letter area out of there. And I should have sprayed this with the spray for the CA glue. I didn't. Okay, and there is that part of it. Now, just to get the last pieces in, we're going to set these. I don't know why I shut that yet. But put a little dab of CA glue on that. Set that one. And it didn't stick either. So we're probably going to have to clamp this. Actually, what we're just going to do until it dries up, we're just going to put tape on it. The bees in. Take this. We're going to set the bee. Figure out where the end of the tape is, which way it's going. That is our setup before we run the wires. Now we're going to run the wires. On the end, there's a little cap. You're going to pop that cap right off. All right, we start over here. All right, so pull your end off of this, and then you're just going to feed it through like you're sewing. And you want to figure out which end you want to start from. You start from either the back or the front, depending on where you want your battery pack to go, because there's going to be a battery pack on it. And you're going to have to feed the whole thing through. So
you're basically going to go in this one, out that one. And we're going to be doing this for a bit, so I probably won't record the whole thing, but I'm going to go in this one and out this one and in. And make sure you don't get these tied up in the back either. Try to keep them organized, otherwise you'll pull up a weird knot. So we're going to pull a ton of this through. Because basically we want the whole thing to feed in with that left over. And then you got to feed it all through. And end up with a knot. There we go, got the knot out. And then the E, what you're going to do is you're going to CA glue that down and around. So we're going to pull this through until we have basically an E. Okay, so after we've got this all stitched in, we're going to run it through the back, out through the front. When we're done with that, we're just going to take this wire, we're going to clip the end, and then we're going to find the little cap. So you're going to put some CA glue down, then you're going to spray some activator in there. Okay. Then we're going to put another bit right where the joint is. You're going to spray it. And push this right down into it like that. So there's our E. And then we just want to do that with all the letters. And then the big one I want to show you is the I, because that was one we weren't sure about. It actually worked out really well. Get that B down, and then we'll do the I. Nope, not yet. Come on. And that's why I wore the gloves. Just to show you the eye, what we did was we drilled 2 holes, and I just put a loop in there. So that the eye fits right, well, it did. Fits right down in there like that. Let me get that dried up and then we'll show you. And that fits right in there so you have an eye. And then we'll do the rest of the B and all that. So I hope this video helped. This is our subscribe sign, all finished. This is what it looks like from the back with it all stitched up. And our flash. I hope this video helped you. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I put them out as often as I can. I'll be doing more on the M1 Ultra. And so I'll put a link in the comments to the stuff I used in this video. And if you have any questions about some of the other stuff, just send a comment to me and I'll answer as best I can. Thanks.